Hello, my Patreon ladies. How y'all doing? I hate that name. Am I saying it right? It's like my mind always thinks it should be called like a patron, right? Like what the fuck is a Patreon? But hi, welcome. I am fresh in. I now realize I don't have my blanket. I'm fresh in. I'm going outside in a completely like random storm, which is the nature of this group. Makes sense, right? We are the girls that never fit in. And this could even have to be like internal, but just like something in the back of your mind said there's always more to life than this. And this doesn't even have to do with the work and all that stuff, just like at a soul level. And that's what this space is going to be for. Cultivating the gifts that you always were meant to have the whole time. We have been robbed. And that it was the main reason for the Divine Feminine post that I had this week that sort of got you guys here. And I'm hoping to get many, many more of you. So tell a friend if they're like getting into this and they want to try this the way where you actually see the results. And by that I mean like this is a cause and effect business, ladies. What we're going to be doing is a lot of experimentation. I see that there are a lot of online gurus because I started my awakening and immediately I went to YouTube. Like looking up every symbol I saw, everything, because I'm better with videos. But that experience let me see that a lot of people were able to explain things to you, but they cannot really give real life examples or tell me like cause and effect or how it played out in their lives exactly, not in words. I can tell you stories, and that's what we're gonna do. A good example: love spell. I wanted my husband to be like more frisky. I know it sounds crazy, right? I'm a firm believer in sex magic, and he was totally with it. Just seeing like what the result would be. So I did a bad bitch spell on me. That's what I named it at the time. Horrible name. I'm gonna reroute that, but the spell slapped. Okay, so suddenly, I did a bad bitch one on me, and I just did like a boost in him. I wanted to bring out his men qualities, right? Um, I don't know what I missed in making sure. Oh, I do. I fixed this problem later, but I'll tell you the thing at the end. So I did the two candles separately, first and foremost, just to give us both a boost. What I figured out, now I'm going to tell you, right? I'm all over the place. What I figured out later was you use a couple's candle for the two energies to merge together, and that gives a completely different effect. But the two separate candles, on my end, every ex or guy I had talked to suddenly hit me up. Um, People that weren't supposed to be hitting on me hit on me, like relatives of my husband, and I didn't realize till like way later what it was. On my husband's end, um, people at work either really started like hating him, having L for his head, or like being a little too comfortable around him. It was so potent that even the dogs would be constantly humping him. Like he couldn't get through the door. Like it was so bad he would have scratch marks on his body some days from the dog. And it took about 3 weeks to wash off. It wanes with the cycles that you do the spells in. And that's the type of stuff I want to share with you guys here. The actual practical magic stuff. So I started with having you guys watch American Horror Story, whatever way you did that, and hopefully by the time you're seeing this video, you did get it. What is so important about that is if you guys didn't notice, we've been asleep or unconscious of all this for quite some time, and just slowly over time it started coming in. Even if we had gifts when we were little or just the awareness of something, it's nothing like what we're seeing now, especially with the trend, but it's actually a wave of consciousness that is going on here. So we are waking up because of what we saw the plot was in American Horror Story. I believe that when the North Node hits Aries, we will start to see a big because I'm going to keep it 100 here, guys. It might be uncomfortable, but I need a place where I can like let all this out. Because I'm not afraid to ask questions. I ask questions about everything. Like I want to know, like God, why do people die? Why does this happen? Why do children die? Like I want to ask the hard questions, and I found that in doing that, You get the answers, and once you have the answer, it extracts the fear. So that's the basis of this whole intuitive society. You are learning to trust your gut, to trust the things that channel through you, which are your intuition, which is the thing that'll guide you to whatever experience you want here. You may have even signed up for one in your natal chart and you have to knock that out the way, but there is a part of you that gets to do free play mode and do whatever your heart desires after you accomplish what you need to balance your karma. And I want to give you guys all the knowledge that you could possibly have to beat this game. When that North Node goes into Aries, I think it's important to note that Russia has a missile named Satan. If you will think about how you do spells or magic and you write names and words on things, that is inevitably what Russia is trying to do. They are trying to hit us with a missile that everybody who is consumed by said missile will be an offering for this man to have enough power to take over the world. That is sort of the gag here, and I know it's crazy. We got to hit the ground running. I'll make sure I answer any questions you have down there because it's just like we're on a time-sensitive thing to get everybody up on board. The main dude below just wants enough energy to walk the earth. As it has been prophesized in many different religions, that's not a joke. That's a real thing. Revelations is sort of the basis of what we're living, but not in the way that it's the apocalypse, although the word apocalypse actually means uncovering. The Revelations is us seeing the illusion, what the Aztecs and the Incas and the Mayas called Maya, the illusion, the matrix, this setup or this belief system around us, the thing that makes you feel like your nose has to be smaller, your hair has to be blonde, your waist has to be more cinched, the patriarchy, the religions are false. We're supposed to be able to be free to do everything we want to. Think about what we were doing like way in the beginning. And this is regardless of race. What were we doing before these rules where other people said you had to do this in order to survive? How did we survive? Off the land, from the trees. And that is exactly what we're working our way back to. This North Node in Taurus is a time where us, the forefront people of Taurus energy, that's Venus energy, femininity, women, arts, beauty, just everything that the original Earth was supposed to be. Some of us are going to be elevating to that vibration. This is getting back to veganism. That's important. We'll get into that. Or vegetarianism, not killing the animals, planning our own stuff, starting to barter or share more amongst ourselves. No big corporations. More of a altruistic hedonism. Like everybody gets to live their life exactly how they want to. Everybody minds their business. Nobody hurts anybody. No more violations of free will. That is what this whole wash is about. That's what American Horror Story Apocalypse is about. The women are the carriers of the intuition here. Yes, men have their intuition. They have like different things, but the womb literally is the thing connected to the moon, the thing that is connected to the fact that the moon controls all the tides here, controls all the water. How much of our bodies is made up of water, guys? And the womb menstruates. Like it takes that energy. We are connected to the flow of that. You ever noticed when a group of women lives together, all their periods sync? Women are the intuition, and actually, we were the first ones in charge. We got the opportunity to rule here first, and we actually ended up enslaving the men, and sort of being possibly worse than the guys were this time around. For that reason, things have swung so far on the pendulum. Now it's swinging back. Women are the future. Women of the original seed races, which I'm going to leave a link for, because I want you guys to get familiar with the history as well as learning things that apply now. We are in a place where time is our captor, like Jigsaw, Chronos. That is the energy. We are in a thing where time seems very front, back, past, present, future. Outside of this matrix, everything is linear. There's no past, present, future. Everything's happening at the same time. So to understand the past and find your place on that timeline or the other incarnations you lived is to understand your future and what ripple you've been living and what you were meant to be doing in the present. Especially as if you have found your way here, chances are you know me from many, many lifetimes. And every time I show up, for the most parts, is to impart some form of wisdom or to help women or underdogs or people fight for themselves inevitably. And that's what's going on here, guys. So a lot of you have been living difficult lives. For this, I wanted you guys to connect to the character, Mallory. You notice everybody else seemed like they were the big wig, like the supreme, the big witch or whatever while they were there. But it turns out it was the girl who had been literally purposefully put into the hardest circumstances to dim her light so that she would not be spotted. And that's what I wanted you guys to recognize within yourselves for a lot of us. Because I know there are different characters in there and everybody can sort of pinpoint one where they feel connected. But that element of anybody who has been downtrodden, literally, you were preserved for this time. We were waking up for this. Anytime before we might have fucked around and like ended up back on that dude's team. And that's another thing I want to mention to you. As soon as your powers come online, a light comes out. Like there's a beacon. Anybody on the 4th level, which is where both good and bad entities hang out, the 4D, they just hang out where we can't see them layered on top of this one because we are made up of frequencies. If you look into Einstein stuff, you'd see we are just different versions of light, different densities and stuff, right? I like to explain it in the way that our bodies are radio receivers and emitters. We take in a frequency and we push out one based on our consciousness. These charts represent our frequencies in what we receive. The transits, which are how the planets move, that we'll get into too, are showing you how you're being pulled, the magnetic pull. Especially that damn moon. Every month that moon gets my ass. The moon goes through every sign in the course of 30 days. And it's crazy.